toward the distant silhouette of shore. With luck and endurance, a man could swim that distance. The lifeboat was adrift off their starboard side. Trot shouted, "This is the Cosima. Identify yourselves." "Max Havelaar," shouted one of the men in the lifeboat. "Is this your entire crew?" "Two are dead." "You're certain?" "The engine, she explodes. One man, he is trapped below." "And your eighth man?" "He falls in, cannot swim." Which made the eighth man as good as dead, thought Trot. He glanced at Cosima's crew. They stood watching, waiting for the order. The lifeboat was gliding almost alongside now. "A little closer," Trot called down, "and we'll throw you a line." One of the men in the lifeboat reached up to catch the rope. Trot turned and gave his men the signal. The first hail of bullets caught its victim in mid-reach, arms extended toward his would-be saviors. He had no chance to scream. As the bullets rained down from the Cosima, the men fell, helpless before the onslaught. Their cries, the splash of a falling body, were drowned out by the relentless spatter of automatic gunfire. When it was finished, when the bullets finally ceased, the bodies lay in a coiled embrace in the lifeboat. A silence fell, broken only by the slap of water against the Cosima's hull. One last explosion spewed a finale of sparks into the air. The bow of the Max Havelaar, what remained of her, tilted crazily toward the sky. Then, gently, she slid backward into the deep. The lifeboat, its hull riddled with bullet holes, was already half submerged. A Cosima crewman heaved a loose anchor over the side. It landed with a thud among the bodies. The lifeboat tipped, emptying its cargo of corpses into the sea. "Our work is done here, Captain," said Trot. Matter-of-factly, he turned toward the helm. "I suggest we return to—" He suddenly halted, his gaze focused on a patch of water a dozen yards away. What was that splash? He could still see the ripples of reflected firelight worrying the water's surface. There it was again. Something silvery gliding out of the swells, then slipping back under the water. "Over there!" shouted Trot. "Fire!" His men looked at him, puzzled. "What did you see?" asked the captain. 4 o'clock. Something broke the surface." "I don't see anything." "Fire at it anyway." One of the gunmen obligingly squeezed off a clip. The bullets sprayed into the water, their deadly rain splashing a line across the surface. They watched for a moment. Nothing appeared. The water smoothed once again into undulating gloss. "I know I saw something," said Trot. The captain shrugged. "Well, it's not there now." He called to the helmsman, "Return to port." Cosima came about, leaving in her wake a spreading circle of ripples. Trot moved to the stern, his gaze still focused on the suspicious patch of water. As they roared away, he thought he spotted another flash of silver bob to the surface. It was there only for an instant. Then, in a twinkling, it was gone. "A fish," he thought. And, satisfied, he turned away. Yes, that must be what it was. A fish. Chapter 1. A small burglary, that's all I'm asking for. Veronica Cairncross gazed up at him, tears shimmering in her sapphire eyes. She was dressed in a fetching off-the-shoulder silk gown, the skirt arranged in lustrous ripples across the Queen Anne love seat. Her hair, a rich russet brown, had been braided with strands of seed pearls and was coiled artfully atop her aristocratic head. At 33, she was far more stunning, far more chic than she'd been at the age of 25 when he'd first met her. Through the years, she'd acquired, along with her title, an unerring sense of style, poise, and a reputation for witty repartee that made her a sought-after guest at the most glittering parties in London. But one thing about her had not changed, would never change. Veronica Cairncross was still an idiot.